Browns fans, do you guys want more videos? Did you enjoy today's win? Well, you know what? That's what they say about the preseason. When you win, it counts. When you lose, it doesn't matter. But you know what does matter? Getting you all the Browns content you want. So go down, subscribe, so we can give you all the great Cleveland Browns news and rumors going into the 2021 NFL season. Cleveland Browns football is back. The 2021 NFL preseason is underway, and what a way to start for the Browns. 23-13 final in Jacksonville to spoil Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence's preseason debuts, and the Browns just rolled over the Jaguars. It says it's a 10-point victory. It's not a 10-point victory. Jacksonville got a garbage time touchdown, and this was a Browns win from start to finish as the defense was the highlight here. They dominated the Jaguars, letting up just one touchdown at the end of the game. No Baker Mayfield? No problem. That offense cruised even without stars like OBJ and Nick Chubb. They were putting up big points with the backups, and you know what? This has been a training camp story all along. Donovan Peoples-Jones we'll get to in a moment, but first, I need you guys to answer a simple question. Who was the biggest star of the game? Go down to the comments. Let me know who you think was the brightest star up there in Jacksonville for the Cleveland Browns to start the 2021 preseason campaign. But how about that Browns defense, right? I mean, just amazing stuff. Some injuries we'll get to later on, but overall, this Browns defense was rolling. We're talking interceptions, sack machines everywhere. The Browns defense was not giving the Jaguars an inch from start to finish, and it was the rookie, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and he was spectacular. I'm talking 8 tackles right there, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. The rookie out of Notre Dame, he did miss some time early on in training camp due to that COVID-19 reserve list. So you thought going into the first preseason game, would he be all the way there? Would he be in true football shape for the NFL? Yeah, I would say so. He was 100% with the speed of the NFL game, flying all around the field, had that one big sack against Gardner Minshew to really stall the Jaguars' drive, and he played pretty much the entire game. And that's the thing with preseason. When you look at numbers, you got to take it with a bit of a grain of salt because it's not about the numbers you put up overall, it's the kind of plays you made and the impact you had when you were on the gridiron. So guys, I got another question for you. Will Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah be a Week 1 starter? He sure looked like it today. Now, granted, it was not against Jacksonville's best. They sat out some of their big names as well. But go down to the comments. Type Y for yes, type N for no if you think Owusu-Koramoah will be a Week 1 starter for that Cleveland Browns defense. On the offensive side, Donovan Peoples-Jones has been the biggest name out of Browns training camp. That's nothing new. What we wanted to know was, would that translate to the actual game speed? You know, not going up against your own defense and offense, but what about an opposing team? I would say so. 3 receptions, 26 yards, that may not jump off the screen to you, but this is what I was talking about earlier. It's about when you're on the field. What kind of contributions are you making? He had some spectacular grabs, key first down catches, and just difficult grabs. I mean, 3 receptions for 26 yards does not tell the story of what DPJ was doing out on the field. He sure looked like better than a wide receiver 3, which he has been gunning for all training camp long. The second-year guy out of Michigan had a good start to his preseason. Keeping it on the offensive side of things, another wide receiver to keep an eye on. Look at Felton here. 4 receptions, 44 yards. The young guy out of UCLA, wow, he did not look like he was a young player out on the field. He looked like a veteran. A lot of big receptions to keep the Browns offense moving up and down the field. He was someone that came into camp a bit of a bubble guy. And this is what preseason's all about. You don't come to preseason to watch Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, you just don't. Sure, you'd like to, but you wait till Week 1 regular season. Preseason is where you look like a genius. When the regular season comes around, and you knew all along Felton was going to be a stud because he looked great so far, and we got to keep an eye on him going into the rest of that preseason. Now to special teams. Let's get the kicker some love. Let's talk about it because Cleveland does have a bit of a kicking duel going on here between Cody Parkey and Chase McLaughlin, and Parkey and McLaughlin split kicks. Parkey went 2 for 2 with a long of 48. McLaughlin a short 37-yarder, so not a lot of ground to make up or lose for either side. Parkey was number 1 on the depth chart here, and it's his job to lose. And it's very simple for a kicker. You make it or you don't. And if you don't, you're not playing on Sunday. You're on your couch warming up at your local high school's field, hoping for an injury. And speaking of injuries, we'll get to that in a moment. But first, look at that score. What a great start to the year, Browns fans. 23-13 was not a 10-point game at all. Garbage time touchdowns and touchdown for the Jaguars. But that Browns defense, once again, the big show here. But unfortunately, it did come at a bit of a price. We've got some injury updates for you guys. A handful of Browns players did not even bother suiting up for this. I'm talking about Grant Delpit and Myles Garrett, probably the two bigger names, along with Ronnie Harrison, all dealing with hamstring injuries. A little weird. I don't know, what's in the water at Browns training camp, but the hammies have been a little banged up. These are all precautionary measures. There's nothing to seriously panic about. Healthy or not, most of these guys, especially like Myles Garrett, they weren't going to play in the first preseason game anyway. So don't read too much into that. But it is worth noting, and it's worth monitoring as that preseason continues. But here are some more bigger injury news here. I'm talking about Mack Wilson. That's right, the young linebacker out of Alabama. He left the game with a shoulder injury. He is someone who most likely on the roster. I would say he's definitely got his at least 1 foot in, but he's not all the way in. But he did suffer a shoulder injury, had to leave. Didn't look extremely serious, but it didn't look like something you could just brush off. So this will be something we're going to have to wait to see what Kevin Stefanski says in his post-game press conference about the injuries. We'll get that information out for you guys shortly. But Mack Wilson, vying for a starting job, maybe a linebacker too. He had that shoulder injury. On the offensive side, Steven Carlson. Sure, he's just the 4th tight end on the depth chart, but this is the Browns offense we're talking about. They love tight ends. This is what they do. They don't need wide receivers so much. They need 2 and 3 tight end sets. I'm talking 23 formations, 13 formations. He left with a knee injury, and that one looked a little more serious than the Mack Wilson one. It wasn't a gingerly pop-up, so that's another injury to monitor. And Carlson has been playing very well throughout the preseason, but luckily it wasn't an injury to Hooper or Njoku or even Bryant, the 3rd tight end. So Carlson, hopefully we'll get him back on the field shortly. And let's talk about the next game here. Let's get ready for what's coming up on the preseason schedule. Browns taking on the G-Men. That's right. It's got some preseason matchups here. You got to love when the AFC and the NFC get to cross in the preseason a lot. But, hey, predict the score for me. Go down in the comments one last time. If you think the Browns are going to win, which you better, let me know by how much or how little. And if you think the Giants are going to win, get out of here. We've got a separate channel for that because the Browns are going 2-0 in the preseason, and they're going to carry that momentum all the way into the regular season.